James Price, ladies and gentlemen, filmmaker, photographer from Miami, Florida, here in Durham. Yeah, so just jump right in. So, what does the title of the program like mean to you? Like refusing, remembering as an act of refusal. Like, what does that mean to you?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Remembering as an act of refusal, I feel like even the word remembering is like really powerful. And when we think of refuse, of course, it's to not allow us, not keep something away from us, like we refuse it or reject it. And the fact that we're able to like, because you're an artist too that deals a lot with archives and your brain. And the fact that we're able to like access these memories, it allows us to be able to like project to like where we want to go in the future, or like it allows us to not make certain moves again. And I feel like if we were like to be living in a world where they don't want us to like remember certain things, and that's why I feel like, I don't know, the word remembering is also like, it's radical in a sense, because, yeah, I don't know, I feel like I'm going on too. But, yeah, sorry, I'm a little nervous. But yeah, like being able to remember, being able to like go back to any memory that we have, whether it's good or bad. And like, in the film that showed before mine, Suzanne was talking about at the end how if things were different, and like her being able to like remember these things, like yeah, it was traumatizing, but then it also like gave her like this different perspective at the end.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us about how this film like came about too, and how you came to making this film.
I started reading this book called The Undercommons by Fred Moten, Fugitive Planning and Black Study. And the film is basically my process, like how I think when it comes to music, when it comes to archival footage that I have. When my grandfather passed, I started to like dig through all of these old photographs and like old videotapes that we have. And in the chapter, Fantasy of the Hold, he was talking about the hold of the ship. And then as I was reading it, I kept thinking about water. I kept thinking about water and how my connection to water. And in the film, I go back to a place where when I was 9 years old, people were being baptized. Yeah. That's all good. My mouth is getting a little dry. I kept going back to a place where people were being baptized in my backyard. Thank you. And I kept thinking about the sounds that I was hearing. And at 9 years old, I was baptized at a Baptist church. And I remember being in this room packed with a lot of people. And all I could hear was people outside praying and like dancing to music. And I just started to think back on what I was reading and how it started to make me think about the chapter where Fred Moten was talking about in the hold of the ship. A lot of bodies were close together. There was music, not music, but there were people singing. So I just started to think about that energy and how that energy was in the room that I was in. So.
Yeah. So how was it? So can you describe your process? Like you both work with archival family history. photographs, film footage. How was your process like with finding these materials, and also talking to family members about memories, things that happened? Yeah, how did that work for this project?
Well, growing up at my grandmother's house, we have, like, each wall in the living room is just covered with photographs. And we have this one section in the house where it's just photo albums stacked on top of each other. And those pictures and everything is like easy to access, but yet they sit there and sometimes they collect dust. And I just used to go through all these photos as a kid and just ask my grandma about each photo, and my mom and my grandfather. And when I was making this project, I did a project piece before this, Dancing in the Absence of Pain. And that was when I was going through a bunch of footage that my grandfather had shot. And I realized that these archives are really important to at least my history and everybody's history, because it's also inside of their household. And like, these pictures are so important and like delicate for us. And also in your work too, you go back and look through the photographs.
Yeah, so the films that you guys seen tonight, Terrence and Secluda, all are in conversation with the work that I'm doing in the gallery. My project is about my grandmother who was murdered in 1996. And it's about, because I was so young when it happened, it's about me trying to develop memories and like recreate memories, because I just didn't have them of her. So there's like this void, like this disruption that happened in my family. And we were talking earlier about interviewing family members. And me personally, like, I found that with this project about my grandmother, I'm like having a lot of like difficulty like talking to family members about like her and about who she was in her younger years. She in her later years started to abuse substance abuse, and which kind of led to her to what happened to her. And so I just been like, I don't know, just having a really rough time interviewing family members that are really like resistant. I'm met with a lot of resistance when it comes to her memory. And I'm just wondering if that happened with you in this project or with the last project.
Well, this project is, I'm a very quiet person, so it's really hard for me to go to family members a lot and ask them if I can interview them, or ask them if we could just talk about certain things. But I usually go to my grandmother a lot because, she holds so much history of the family. So usually I'm digging through a bunch of photos, and then I ask her about certain images and, what time, what place. And I usually don't get them on camera a lot to interview. I just like to talk to them about it, and then I create something from what I hear from them and how I can use that to like relate towards my life. Like in Fantasy as a Whole, there was a scene where they were being baptized in the pool. And I remember being a kid, right outside my room, I'm hearing everybody outside singing and praying. And the other image was a shot that I took this year in 2019 of the same pool. And it's the same color as the pool back in the 90s. So certain situations like that, I'm able to go based off of, maybe to draw back a lot, go back to my family for certain things. But it's still hard for me to like ask certain questions about a lot of things, only because I'm afraid of like what they might say sometimes. But I can understand how that'd be a lot difficult for you because of the situation. And yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of my family members are really afraid of kind of like tainting the little memory I have of my grandmother. I didn't find out until much later that she abused drugs, and so I know they're trying to. A lot of it is trying to shelter, shelter that from me, and it's yeah, it's difficult. I met with a lot of resistance when interviewing. But in your film, can you talk about like some of the aesthetic decisions, the colors that you used, if there was any significance to the yellow? You used the yellow. The character had a yellow dress on, and you also like had like yellow text at the bottom under the screen. Just wondering if you could talk about that.
Well, actually, what she was wearing, it was styled by a friend of mine named Margot. And I woke up one morning, I was texting her. I was like, man, I really need a church outfit. And I was like, do you think you can do that? And she was like, yeah, I got the perfect color, everything that I could get for you. And I didn't know, I was unaware of what colors that she was taking out. And in my grandmother's house, as soon as you walk in through the front door, there's this picture of a painting of somebody being baptized in Mississippi. So I started to film that before I went outside to film the swimming pool. And I saw this yellow dress, and for some reason, towards the end, when I'm filming that part, I zoomed into the yellow dress, and it just became a part of the process. It wasn't planned. And then when I got to the scene where I was gonna shoot, we shot it in the garage under this light, and it had just got done raining, and you can see like at the top, there's like this little drips of water that keeps dripping down. And then that started to like make me think of something that goes way beyond my memory of being in a hold of a ship and like what that was like for the slaves inside there and the water probably leaking in. So I felt like the garage was like a perfect spot to shoot, to try to think of that and what it's like to go under or go underwater. So at certain points when she's dancing, you can see like this little drip every now and then. But the yellow wasn't planned at all. But I feel like the spot that I chose to shoot in and the yellow just really gave off, it really stood out inside all of the darkness that was in there.